As a farmer, one thing you should always, in fact, as a pig farmer, it's not even as a farmer, as a pig farmer, as a person who is raising pigs, one thing you have to always put in your mind is that feeding plays a very vital role in your animals, in their growth. Now, the major reason why I see that most people get into pig farming is because they feel that pigs eat anything, and that once you give your pig anything, it will grow. That is a very, very big lie. That is a big lie. And that is why most farmers end up having problems. Why? Because they feel that they can fatten up these pigs at a very low budget. See, I always tell people that pig farming is very, very expensive. Running a pig farm is very, very expensive, but also if you do it right, you are going to make profit out of it. Now, a situation whereby you have animals that are still growing, and you go and force cassava peels, pawpaw peels, plantain peels into them. Young animals are still growing, and you feel that those animals will grow. Those animals will not grow. A situation whereby you only feed your animals malt, you only feed your animals PKs, you only feed them all these feeds that are high in fiber. They will not give you what you want at the time you want it. That's why sometimes you go to a pig farm, you see a pig of 1 year old that resembles a pig of 3 months old. Why? Because it's not even about the breed of the animal. Genetics is very, very important. But if you feed your animal well, no matter the genetics, it should give you at least 50% of what you want. But a situation whereby you have animals and you're not even feeding well, they'll be tiny. They will not be growing well. They will not be growing well. See these guys. Look at how big their stomach is. That's that these animals are feeding well. These animals are feeding very well. So personally speaking, don't feed your animals on cheap feed, or will I say feeds that don't add much value to their body. If you want to run a pig farm, one thing you should know and have it in mind is that you are going to bring out money to feed your animals. Pigs can eat anything. Pigs can virtually eat. There is nothing I've given my pig that it has said no to before. I'm not sure. Or maybe few, but most things I give them, they eat. Pigs find it hard to say no to any kind of food. But at the end of the day, you as the farmer who is running your pig farm based on its profitability, you should always ask yourself, this thing I'm feeding my animal, is it going to make it fat? Is it going to make it big? Is it going to add any value to its body? If you give your animals more, spend grain should not even be a major part of a growing animal's feed. Spend grain here in the farm, I use spend grain to an extent, but I use it mostly for my big animals, those ones that have grown. Now, if you are feeding spent grain, in fact, the mistake I see most people make is that most people, especially those who are into pig farming new, they will take spent grain in large quantity and give to their growing animals. The animals are still growing. Spent grain doesn't contain much protein, it doesn't contain much carbohydrate, it doesn't even contain much fat. So that kind of feed, what is not going to add value to your animal's body. The pig will eat it and take it out also. That's why sometimes if you feed your animal only malt, you come to your animal's pen, what you'll be seeing mostly is malt in their waste. Why? Because they did garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you give them, they brought it out for you. Now that's to say that most part of it wasn't digested. So that's why you see that an animal that you're feeding malt only is having stunted growth, is being tiny, is not growing well. Whereas there are other viable feeds that will make your animals to grow very well, which you could easily give to it. Now, spent grain is high in fiber. PKC is high in fiber. The only reason why PKC makes is in terms of all these cheaper feeds, PKC is the best is because it contains fat. PKC has high fat and oil content. So that's oil is what makes some of these pigs that are fed only PKs to have body. But if you want to make your pigs to grow better, yeah, there are also other things which you need to add into that PKs. And all these things are contained in my ebook that talks about pig feeds and all the rest. They are contained there. So if you are the type who's always feeding your animals PKC and malt, your animals are going to have growth issues. They are going to have growth issues, and they're not going to grow well, and it's going to make you to even be in losses. So it's better you bring out that money and buy good feeds that will help your animals to grow. And then when you're selling your animals, you sell them and make a profit because they have grown at the expected time and at a very short time. See, I can be feeding my animals now compounded feed. That's feed that I made from buying various things, maybe corn and the rest. Now, it might take me 6 months to fatten up my pigs to reach at least 50 kg on that kind of feed, even though it's meant to be higher than that. But let's say 50 kg. Now, I ran on an expensive budget, but it gave me what I wanted at a very short period of time. Now, you guys feeding your animal PKC a month only. In 1 year, your animal has not even reached 30 kg. I know it's case people are always coming and tell me this kind of thing that the animal is up to 1 year old, but it's not up to 40 kg. And the first thing I always ask them, what are you feeding your animals? Before I even talk about medication or ask about management, first thing I always ask is, what are you feeding them? Because even if you mismanage pigs even if you mismanage them very well, even if you don't inject them at all, at least as far as they're eating quality food, they are meant to be growing very well. See, from my own experience, I don't know if other people have experienced this. If you feed your animal very well, they will hardly get sick. From my own experience, especially pigs, because pigs love eating. If you feed your animals very well, they hardly get sick. So a situation whereby your animals are not being fed well, they'll always be sick. If you look at your animal self, you'll be discouraged from doing pig farming. So I've been there, I've experienced all these things before, and I've learned my lessons, and that's why I keep on sharing all these my experiences on this YouTube channel to encourage you guys and to also help you guys. One thing I always tell people is try as much as possible to invest in knowledge. If you see someone who is doing something that you're doing and you know that he's doing a good job and he's kind of doing very well, try to get close to him and try to see if you can learn from him. And try as much as possible to invest in valuable knowledge, especially in something that will give you your money back. So try as much as possible to be following my YouTube channels. My YouTube channel, even though I have more than one channel though. But this is basically what I said. Let me tell you guys on today's video. So feed your animals very well. Don't just rely on PKC and malt because they are cheap. They are cheap, but it's better you buy those expensive feed so that your animals can grow very well and so that you can sell them out of your farm. There's no use of packing 100 animals in your farm and it will take you 1 year plus to fatten them up to 50 kg. Whereas someone is fattening his own or her own up to 50 kg in 5 months, in 6 months. Why? Because they are feeding them good feed. So that's basically it on today's video. Subscribe to the channel, ask your questions, and my number is always in the description of these videos. If you have any question, just text me on WhatsApp, and I'll always be glad to put you guys through. So that's basically it on today's video. Keep watching and keep subscribing. Thank you.